Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Kyle,
Let's get everybody. Senna.
and welcome to Nice Finds.
Yes.
So today we got an interesting topic. Today got some good, interesting show today. Got some good topics. Got some cool songs that we just found. Some new artists that we love that we ran across, and then we got some artists that we already know about that are pretty big names that dropped some new music recently.
Right.
So we have our first segment, which we call hip hop.
Hip hop.
So this past weekend, we're gonna put this online, contingent on when you're hearing this audio or seeing this visual. Joey Badass
Yeah.
released
bro.
his 2000 tape.
Honestly, I've been waiting for this new album to come out ever since I heard Head High. And honestly, after he had that conversation with Nas and he put it out there, it's like whenever Nas heard this album, he said that this was like one of his best bodies of work. And so after these last projects that Nas and Hit Boy has been putting out, if he says that this shit is his best stuff that he's been putting out for Joey Badass, I feel it.
I feel like it's real dope. I feel like it's real good, especially after it kind of this one's called 2000,
Right.
and then his previous tape that he's really known for is 1999.
Right.
And it kind of follows on that same trend.
Right.
For example, a standout track for me is that joint he has with Larry June.
Yeah,
for you guys out there, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a big Larry June fan.
Right.
And that's something to most definitely ride to. That is a good song, dope song. And then it's refreshing because, Joey's such a lyricist. And Joey coming in with the fire bars, and then Larry June provide that smooth sound. I rock with it, heavy.
And the thing I really loved about it was it kind of reminded me of Big Sean's Detroit mixtape. Whenever he got all those people on there talking about how they felt about Detroit or how they mixed in with how Big Sean got his project and how he's doing now, and then the way Joey brought in Royce, Diddy, all these people. He's like, yeah, I remember whenever I met Capital Steez, R.I.P. I remember whenever I met everybody in Pro Era. And it kind of gave that feeling of how South by Southwest was whenever you would go there, and that shit just really felt like just some underground shit where you would have to find artists for real because you would go to just one bar and there'd be somebody performing, and then you would find out that it's G-Eazy or it's Joey and Pro Era. This whole feeling of this album is just, it feels nostalgic, but like Nas said, the way he's been able to spit his bars feels so crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stay on that. Let's stay on on Joey Badass, and kind of the evolution of Joey Badass. Because I think the cool thing, as far as with us, and we talk about it all the time, is that a lot of these artists that are big right now, we got to groove with them.
Right.
We remember when they first came out. We remember, kind of like you said, seeing them at the South by shows where it's a small crowd or whatever, and watching them grow to now doing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 cap arenas, not cap arenas, but 3,000, 4,000 venues, or even
stadiums,
stadiums, or even Kendrick Lamar. I remember. I'm sorry, I go on tangents, but I just recently was Kendrick Lamar is his.
How was that Big Stepper?
The Big Steppers, Mr. Royale tour,
Yeah.
fire, dope show, super good show, really good show. If you guys are familiar with Kendrick, his performances are very theatrical.
Right.
They have a storyline to them, they have a theme around them, so it's more than just him up there rapping, playing songs. So that's super cool. But Kendrick's one of those artists where I remember seeing him while I was in college, and there was probably only 30 people there at the show, and now when he does his shows now, they're always in arenas.
Bro.
But not to go on a tangent.
No.
But back to Joey Badass.
Yeah.
He's most definitely one of those artists that we grew with, you know?
Yeah.
Like, him coming out from, like, 1999, and like you said, seeing him at South by. Like, I remember at one point, I felt like Joey was, like, one of the kings of South by.
Oh, absolutely.
He was, like, there every year.
Him and Travis. Yeah, and what's it called? Wolfgang.
Yeah, I remember I felt like they would always pop up, like, at South by, and, like, you could see them, and you get cool thing, like you said, cool thing about the South by, you could actually touch them. Like, I remember seeing, like, Joey Badass just walking down the street randomly downtown, and like him like got his headphones and just rapping. Like he was just walking down the street rapping. I was like, yo, this man, like, but to see the growth now from there to now where he's like on TV shows, he got this crazy album. He's doing like this North American tour right now where he's doing like big venues, and he has like his European tour later. Like it's dope. It's super dope to see.
And honestly, like just how he's been able to just take a step back. You've seen him develop from an artist going to an actor and still being able to pen for other people while doing all this, and then being able to still make a solid album that is lyrical, theatrical, like it gives so much imagery whenever he's performing it. And so whenever I listen to these types of artists, that's one thing that I really enjoy, because you know that whenever you go to a concert or a show for them, like it's gonna be good. It's not just gonna be some shit where they're just standing on stage and walking back and forth.
Right.
Because they actually take their craft seriously, and they also just really think about every level of how somebody's consuming their music.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, man. But yeah, overall, it's like a real dope tape. It shows a lot of growth.
Right.
Super good. But also, staying on this hip hop segment,
right.
I'm gonna do it like, this was like a nice little track I found. And it was something of a twist, because I wouldn't have expected like these two artists with each other, with Maxwell Cream and Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
Like that, I did not expect that kind of move, but it was actually a good ass. It was a real good song, Division.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, yo, like I saw Maxwell, I was like, okay, new Maxwell. I rock with Maxwell Cream. And then I said featuring, I was listening to it and I heard like Anderson .Paak voice. I was like, yo, like they got Anderson .Paak on here. But it was a nice mix, and I think that's dope, because that's another artist,
right?
Maxwell Cream, like somebody else who we grew with, we seen from the beginning up,
right?
Like him to be able to kind of like step out to a newer sound, it's super dope. Like I saw Missy Elliott tweet something. Well, Missy Elliott tweeted something that went viral. Now, I'm not I never proclaimed myself as like a music expert, like a technical music expert, X, Y, and Z. You bring me into a studio, I don't know what to do with none of the buttons, none of the keys.
Yeah.
But I'm just a big fan of music, and I love diving into music and finding new artists and seeing their growth and whatnot. But I remember Missy Elliott, like a tweet from Missy Elliott went viral, and it was like, the sophomore album of an artist is very important.
Absolutely.
Now I have to go check. I don't necessarily think Maxwell Cream is on his sophomore album now. You got to see. Somebody have to fact check it. But the one key takeaway I took from that tweet she said was that she was like, for that album, you want to show a diverse sound.
Right.
You want to show that you can step out of not just your normal style that everybody's accustomed to.
Right.
And going on a tangent, I think Brent Faiyaz did a good job with that with this new album.
Oh, absolutely.
Adding like a new sound that he normally doesn't really work with. You know what I mean?
By the way, the instrumentals on Loose Change and Dead Man Walking, incredible. Like just especially Dead Man Walking and how it comes into the sound.
Yeah.
Brent he knows how to do one thing. He knows how to make an ambiance. He knows how to make a feeling whenever it comes to his music, and it feels like you're transported into like another realm, like in his mind of how he sees music and how he hears sounds. Because just the violin plucks, the chords on it, and just the way it makes you feel, where it time sort of like angelic. You know what I mean?
Hold that thought, because I got a funny Brent Faiyaz story. It's something that happened to a friend of mine recently while he was listening to that tape.
Right.
So like, back to Maxo though. The song with Anderson .Paak is so cool. Like just to see that, you know what, I can go outside my normal sound.
Right.
And then also work with an artist that I probably wouldn't have worked with on my older stuff. I don't know Maxo personally.
Right.
So he may have always been thinking like I always want to work with somebody like Anderson. But just to hear that song and hearing that diversity, I'm excited for whatever he's about to have come out. Man.
I mean, from whenever he dropped Weight of the World, right, and started adding like the second he dropped Persona with Tyler the Creator, I was like, yeah, he understands, like how to diversify his sound on different beats that aren't typically like atypical form.
Right.
And so now he's like dropping these Lucy's. He just dropped one with Benny the Butcher.
Yeah, he did.
That shit was
That's
fire.
another one that was like I wouldn't have expected that collab.
Dog, Maxo, the man is just working in silence.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because he's just a person that understands he's gonna let the song do the work for him. And he's not, unless it's like his clothing line persona that he's pushing out, he's not really big on like trying to be internet famous. He just understands that if I make quality music, people gonna rock with it regardless.
Does he have something new coming out? Because he's either about to or the tour is about to start. So this is actually an interesting tour. For you guys, first time listening and tuning in, we're big on concerts.
Oh, absolutely.
Big on concerts and festivals. But he's going on tour with Suicide Boys.
Oh shit.
It's him, Snot, and then there's one more person.
Oh, so this is gonna be like a rage.
Oh my god. That building's going, whatever venue they're gonna be in,
the ground's gonna be shaking.
That temperature's gonna go up 30 degrees, 20 degrees. But that's another interesting group. I didn't realize how big Suicide Boys are. They are huge.
I mean, they got a cult following.
They have a huge cult following.
The same way like SOBRB, whenever they were first starting out, like they have that, like they've been able to just hold on to it.
Yeah, I didn't realize how big Suicide Boys are because like I was looking at some of their past tours.
Yeah. Because
like I said, they announced this new one, and I was looking at like the venue sizes they were doing, and they were selling them bad boys out.
What's the cap?
Like they were doing like I want to say this new one is gonna be at the upcoming one's gonna be at 713 out here. And for those of you guys who aren't, we're based out in Houston. 713 is like a 5,000 cap, if I can remember correctly.
Oh damn.
Yeah, 713 music hall. I think it's like 5,000 cap, and I think it's gonna be there. Like they're doing venues like that.
Also, it's like we were talking about earlier. It's interesting to see like the stages at which artists have been growing. So because we've been watching them for like so long,
right?
And just being able to see like them go from like the Bronze Peacock room to Warehouse to House of Blues large room to now the larger room and Warehouse to then now 713.
Yeah.
And then being able to see that growth and hopefully to stadium status.
Yeah, but the cool thing about Suicide Boys is like they did it on like an underground way, underground feel. Like you're not gonna hear like a Suicide Boys on like on a radio or something. Like, yeah, like that's super dope that they were able to do it. And plus, they from my hometown world, so like, hey, show them love. That's love.
You're not really going to hear like a Suicide Boys unless you like look for that.
Yeah,
because that's a type of music that you gotta like.
That's a
really
type of music. That's a dark type of music. That's like you gotta be in your room and like you just gotta have been going through some shit.
Right, you just need like an outlet.
You need a hug,
bro.
You need love.
I remember going to this one show where the music kind of reminded me of like the internet SoundCloud era where you had like Joey Pert, Smoke Perp. You had
Yeah.
XX. You had like all these like little these types of artists, and they were just raging to like the saddest songs. It's just interesting. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Like
I got a story too. I got a story too. This is with Maxo.
Okay.
So run it. Yeah,
the ability for like these artists to like really make their music to just their generation, as well as just speak their truth, but also make that shit a fucking banger. Honestly, that shit fire.
You remember? I'll never forget that quote you told me when we went to that
Travis show. Yeah.
So for you guys out there, if you were to describe personalities, Senna is high energy.
Yeah.
I'm a little more chill.
Right.
If we're at a concert, Senna is in the mosh pit. I'm way in the back chilling.
Absolutely, gotta burn those calories up.
So we're at this Travis Scott show, and this guy, they started what song they're playing? Cortana?
Yeah. He started playing
Mamacita.
Mamacita.
And Senna was in the back with me chilling, and I could see like he was getting itchy.
Once
like,
I heard that,
he started moving and he was itching. That's how he was itching, and I was like, bro, Senna, just go. He knew what I was saying. Senna, just go in the mosh pit. Just go. Senna just takes out running into the mosh pit, and then we was with somebody else. And it was a friend of ours, and I walked into her car because her ride got there.
Right.
I walked into her car, and by the time I got back, I knew the show was almost over. By the time I got back, everybody was leaving out. And Senna, mind you, Senna went in with a button-down shirt on. Perfectly fine. He keeping it casual, keeping it cool.
Right.
And then he walks out, and this dude is drenched in sweat, button up wide open, and he comes up to me, and the first thing he says is, "Man, these kids rage different. They mosh pit different." I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Back in my day when we used to mosh pit, we did it out of love. These kids nowadays do it out of pain. Like, you can feel their pain." So like when you talk about that Suicide Boys situation where you were saying like they mosh into the saddest shit, I believe you.
Right.
I fucking believe you.
Come on, bro.
But talk about, alright, so back to the Maxo Cream situation. Not situation, but Maxo Cream. Back on that topic. Like, I went to a similar show for him.
Mm.
This was like probably, I want to say 2015, 2016 maybe?
Right.
Maybe even 2014. But he was on tour with this is back when Maxo Cream was underground. This was back when Fetty. It's like when Fetty first came out. Not Fetty Wap, y'all. We talking about his song Fetty with Playboy Cardi.
Yeah, that shit fire.
He's on tour with Dash, and I remember being at that show, and it was like the most underground show. Like, you walk in there, there's like no security. Like literally, like I remember there was people like in Maxo's crew that were on stage, and they just jumped off stage and they ran outside because some shit happened.
That's like those are the shows like whenever the stage is like right in front of you, and that shit's only like 2-3 feet off the ground. Those are the types of shows that like you're like, oh damn.
It was at Numbers. It was at Numbers on one time.
Oh, okay.
But y'all not familiar with Houston. It was at Numbers.
Oh damn.
And I remember being at that show, and it was just the most underground, emoist crowd. I was like, you remember Slim Jesus?
No.
There was this, look up Slim Jesus. There was somebody who looked just like Slim Jesus. There was a white boy with a pink do-rag. Not pink do-rag. He had a white boy with a purple do-rag, with a nose ring, with a FUBU jersey on. That boy was not matching. I said, what the hell am I? But to see Maxo go from there to where he is now is super, super dope. Yeah. But I remember that show because, to be honest with you, at that time, I had just heard about Maxo. I was a bigger Dash fan. Now that's somebody. You guys, for your listeners out there, for people tuning in, look up Dash, DA$H. Check out his older stuff and just see how much of a pioneer he was as far as with today's sound. And he was like, I think he's a matter of fact. I think that is, if I can remember correctly, Dame Dash's nephew or something like that. So like when Dame, so I remember at this time, this is like Dame Dash decided to make another record label, and him and Currency was like one of the first signees. Like I said, please, if anybody tuning in, please fact check me. I might be completely wrong, but I remember they were kind of like both under that same label. And I'm a big Currency fan, so like I was checking out him, I was checking out Dash, and but anyway, Maxwell was on tour with Dash. They came out here, and that was like a underground show. Like that was on some it holds a special place in my heart because it's like you have to always remember you have to start somewhere.
Right.
And like I said, seeing like artists grow. Cause like I remember me going on a tangent again. I remember being at shows where I went to. You remember OG Mako?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guess this?
Look, hey, people slept on that man's mixtape.
His mixtape was fire.
I heard.
Dog,
that shit
I
was
thought
crazy.
I was the only person thinking
that man's music crazy.
They slept on that man big
like
time.
he's very versatile.
Slept on him big time.
Yeah.
But he had a show out here in Houston one time, and I went to it. Like I said, another situation, probably just 20 of us out there.
Yeah.
And guess who showed up at the show and just ran up on stage? Don Toliver.
Oh, really?
This was before anybody knew who he was.
Oh, wow.
And Don Toliver just was walking through the crowd, was always chilling on stage and shit. Like those type of shows, they're weird as shit. I don't go to them as much anymore.
Right.
I'm older in life now.
Yeah.
But it's just super, super cool to see the growth of people.
Right.
Like you just never know. Like I remember back to the South by story. I remember being at a Big Crit showcase.
Right.
And it was at this small little bar. Big Crit was there performing. Of course, Big Crit was the big name. But Saba. Saba came in and performed. Nobody knew who he was. And Saba, matter of fact, Saba wasn't even on the card. He was featured on somebody else's song.
Was that before like the Photosynthesis album?
This was before Bucket List.
Or Bucket List? Yeah.
So yeah, around that time.
Okay, got you.
No, I think it was around the time of Bucket List actually.
So he's at that time he was getting like featured on like Chance the Rapper, all these other people.
Yeah, but he was still nobody knew who he was.
Right.
Yeah, because like I said, like to be honest with you, he wasn't even on the lineup for the showcase. It was somebody else, and Saba just came in to do a feature. But Saba stood out. Let's put it like that. His energy like stood out. But yeah, man.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Just the way the progression of how hip hop is, and also just the journey of which these artists take to get to where they are. And if you aren't there seeing their growth, like for instance, whenever I went to South by, I went to the Spotify show and saw SZA back when she dropped Z, right? That was whenever she was like really bubbling, and not a lot of people knew who she was at the Spotify house, right? But like being able to see her go from that to whenever I saw her at Coachella, to whenever I saw her at Cynthia Woods and on that TE tour, her just watching that type of growth, and being able to be like you. The shit is just special, honestly. The shit is just special.
I got a question. I'm gonna pose this question to you. Did you see the demographic shift between her Z tape?
Oh, absolutely,
bro.
Absolutely.
I thought I was the only one,
bro. I remember I was talking with somebody a while ago, and they were like, they really fucked with SZA heavy on that Z tape, right? They're like, oh, this is perfect, blah, blah, this, that, and the other. The second she drops Control, they're like, I don't like her.
No.
They're like, I do not rock with SZA anymore. I'm like, nigga, this shit wasn't for you.
Bruh, I'm a huge fan of both. I'm a huge fan of SZA, period.
Yeah.
But when I mean that, and it kind of goes into what you said, but like, as far as like the demographic shift, and Retro, we're gonna ask you this too. I'm talking to our producer Retro. He's behind the scenes right now. I'm gonna ask him too if he saw this as well. But I remember seeing SZA at Essence Fest. Now, granted, the caveat is it's Essence Fest.
Right.
And this was like around the time her Z tape, right?
Right.
The people who were in the crowd were more so like your hipster girls, your Mother of the Earth girls, like crystals and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, alright, cool, bet. Alright, this is her demo. Come on with Control drop.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I went to that show at Warehouse. I'm talking about, it was Hot Girl Summer in that joint. It was a totally type of different demo. Like, it was like hot girls in that bad boy.
Yeah.
And I was like,
But is that not the phase?
I
Is
guess
that not what Missy was talking about when she said
yeah,
being able to diversify yourself?
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna lie. Like you know, I've been kind of, I've been reading up on, some certain things and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And a particular type of lady when she finding herself, you know what I'm saying? She gonna go from like using the crystals and whatnot to determine how she gonna move with her dude and control like her environment. 'Cause,
Right.
They are creators as well, you know what I'm saying?
Music reflects life.
You feel me? So it's like, that was her stage, you know what I'm saying? But after it didn't work out, after that didn't make her fantasy, you know what I'm saying, go. Now she's like, well, it's hot girls out here. Yeah, I was, when you was with Valentine's, you know where I was.
Right.
With him.
Right.
And like, with your best friend. It was that best friend on Valentine's Day. In Vegas. So it's like, it's like, look, these crystals didn't make you do what I want, so I'm just best friend.
Right.
And everybody was like, yep, that's it. Cause hey, Kyle, what's funny is that was probably the same crowd, bro.
Right.
And they just grew.
They were like, you know what? These
Let me drop my
crystals
crystals down.
It's time for the hot girl summer.
Let me put on these shorts.
Right.
Cause she was probably like, they was like, you know what? Bitch, you right. And they did it, yeah. That's what I'm thinking what happened.
We call this segment From Crystals to Hot Girl Shorts. But I guess it's like you got the kind of like with Kendrick's new album, right? You got the people are dynamic. You got multiple personalities. You got not multiple personalities. You have multiple moods.
Right.
You're a diverse person where one day you might want to listen to R&B, other day you might want to listen to some drill.
Right.
Like, and that's how we are with life. Sometimes you want to keep it cool, keep it casual. Other times you want to be on some ratchet shit.
Duality of man.
Duality of man. But nah, it's just that demo. Was a big ass shit.
Look.
It went from literally like your hipster girls, crystals, love to go do yoga to like, yo, we fucking it up this summer.
Right.
It was like
we fucking it up and we crying at the same time and we gonna party. We gonna do all that shit all at once. That's what control is.